Everybody, welcome to Studio 64. My name's David, and I've been searching the interzones for some more science, space, and tech news to share with you. And I found this over on the Twitters, or X as it's now known. Yes, very interesting. For those of you who are watching on Rumble, Odyssey, and BitChute, you'll be more than likely well aware of what the Twitter files are. For those of you on YouTube, prepare to be surprised, or not surprised, as the case may be. Yes, this is from Michael Schellenberger. Yeah, Twitter files and CIA. Now, the Twitter files, if you're unaware, are a very large expose of what Twitter was doing before Elon Musk took over, or should I say pre-Elon, as I like to call it, pre-Elon Musk. And this will give you an indication of why he is now being demonized and he is Donald Trump 2.0. As I've said in previous videos, the US government in particular, along with other governments around the world, have lost control of one of the world's largest social media platforms. So this explains why every time you switch on the news, or every second day, there is a hit piece on Elon Musk and how evil he is. Funny, before he took over Twitter, he was the golden-haired boy and everyone loved him. Rocket Man and everything else. Now he just gets criticized. It's the same as Donald Trump. When he came down the golden escalator in 2015 and said he was running for president, that's when he became a monster. Prior to that, everyone loved him. You've been told to hate these two people, and a lot of people do. I find it quite fascinating how people can be taken in by it. But this will be a real eye-opener for you. The Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA, is the most famous of the 18 US government agencies that comprise the intelligence community, or IC, of the United States of America. Unlike the Federal Bureau of Investigations, or the FBI, the law strictly prohibits CIA employees or contractors from spying upon or running clandestine operations against American citizens on US soil. Ha ha ha. Yes, I'm sure they do it anyway, you can guarantee it. But now, a new Twitter Files investigation reveals that a member of the board of trustees of the CIA's mission-driven venture capital firm and ostensibly former IC and CIA analysts were involved in a 2021 to 2022 effort to take over Twitter's content management system. Now you understand misinformation, disinformation, the government will control the narrative. And this is US government, sure, but now you know why Australia's Anthony Albanese has come out and said, we have to control social media. I don't like mean memes made about me, blah, 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 right? This is why. He's been prodded by the Americans, right? Now, 2022 is an interesting date. That's when Elon Musk took over Twitter. That's why they're all so angry with him, because he literally upended this. Now, the effort involved a long-time IC, intelligence community contractor and senior Department of Defense R&D official who spent years developing technologies to detect whistleblowers or insider threats like Edward Snowden and WikiLeaks leakers, Julian Assange. Now, the proposed head of the DHS's aborted disinformation government board, Nina Jankowicz, who aided US military and NATO hybrid war operations in Europe. Yes, Disinformation Governance Board, also known as the Ministry of Truth from 1984, which was dedicated to total lies. It's like the Ministry of Peace dedicated to total war, the Ministry of Truth dedicated to lies, all that sort of stuff. That's exactly what it was, because governments around the world will tell you what's disinformation, and most people go, oh, it must be right then. No, they're just pushing an agenda, and they'll tell you what's right even though it's wrong. Now, Jim Baker, who was the FBI General Counsel, helped start the Russiagate hoax. Russia, and Donald Trump. Turns out it was a big lie. And as Twitter's Deputy General Counsel, urged Twitter executives to censor the New York Post story about the Hunter Biden laptop in 2019. And, of course, that was a conspiracy theory, a Russian conspiracy theory, and all a big lie, misinformation, disinformation, all that crap. And it turns out the FBI actually had the laptop in their possession and they knew it was all real. It's not just about Hunter's private parts being flashed. It was all the information on there that was very critical of the Biden family, Hunter Biden and Joe Biden in particular, when it came to certain things, shall we say, that they got up to when it came to Ukraine in particular. These existing or former IC employees, contractors, or intermediaries weren't satisfied with simply controlling Twitter. They wanted to use PayPal, Amazon Web Services, GoDaddy, and YouTube as well, in a totalizing effort, and Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff. They wanted to use it in a totalizing effort to deplatform, demonetize, and excommunicate from the internet entirely those individuals that the IC, etc., et al., deemed to be a threat. People such as, and we all remember what happened back during the COOF days and during the certain elections, the election in 2020, if you disagreed with those, you were deplatformed, and we saw that. Isn't it interesting now? There's a lot of information coming out saying that those people who dissented and were kicked off the deplatformed were actually right. And now everyone goes, yeah, well, so what? Really? So these people were censored heavily. They were, their lives were made a living hell, and now they're right. Is there an apology? No, of course not. This is why Elon Musk is hated, because he's now replatforming these people. It's absolutely incredible. There is much that we still do not know about the effort. We do not know if the officials within the CIA or any other IC organization ran the operation. It is possible that the only individuals involved in the effort were the ones we discovered, and none of the individuals involved responded to our request for information except one. There was actually 3 later on down the article. He corrects that. Yeah, I won't let this video go on for too long, but I will leave the link to the main article below the video, so you can at least, if you haven't got a Twitter account, you can click on it and go and have a look at the thread. It's very, very interesting. But thousands of pages of Twitter files documents contained therein paint a clear picture of an organised operation by existing or former IC employees and contractors using well-established IC tradecraft to take control of Twitter's content moderation. Now you see why they're going after Elon, because he's dismantled all this. Our investigation comes at a moment when governments and intelligence agencies around the world are stepping up their efforts to monitor and censor their citizens. Thusly, you're seeing YouTube implement new regimes because you've got the 2024 election coming up in the US. Interesting. This is why I always push platforms like Rumble, Odyssey, and BitChute, because you can go on there and see the stuff that the mainstream platforms like Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram will block for your own good, because we know what's best for you. Oh, for God's sake, come on. You are adults. You can make up your own minds. Go over to Rumble. The link's below the description of this video. Have a look around. You'll be very, very surprised. Very surprised indeed. It thus has large implications for policymakers in the public and Western nations that look to the US as a model for free speech and citizen control of the military. Free speech. You are free to speak exactly what the government tells you can. It tells you can do. Yeah, this is a joint public racket investigation. The authors are Matt Schellenberger, Matt Taibbi, and Galaxy Brain. As always, the only condition we agreed to in publishing this was first on X. At the edge of the end of this thread, we'll explain why and how this investigation began. And here we go. All right, let's have a look. Yeah, we'll just have a look at a couple of these, but it'll blow your mind. It's amazing. Nita Jankowicz and the Althea Group. Now, before the intelligence community's attempt to infiltrate Twitter and control its content moderation, several of the operatives involved made the case for treating disinformation as a national security threat that requires intelligence and military tactics to combat. Really interesting. This is the lady that was in charge of the defunct Ministry of Truth that the Americans had. How to Lose the Information War. She wrote a book on it. Russia, Fake News, and the Future of Conflict. It's really, really, really fascinating. I'll put a link to another video down below this one, which shows how Twitter pre-Elon was used to manipulate the perception of Russia's military campaign in the Ukraine in early 2022. Very, very interesting. It was a computer science paper done by the University of Adelaide here in Australia. And it proved basically that 80% of all the pro-Ukrainian hashtag I stand with Ukraine's tweets, of 5 million of them on Twitter, weren't real people. They were a programmed propaganda, campaign, literally. And people believed they were real. They weren't real people. There'd be one person controlling 1,000 accounts. Looked like 1,001 people. Fascinating. Yes, CIA Analyst's Guide to Spotting Fake News. On July 8, 2020, a little-known teen and young adult book publisher released True or False, a CIA Analyst's Guide to Spotting Fake News by Cindy Otis, a former CIA analyst. I've wanted to work with the CIA almost my whole life. Look at this. Unbelievable. Right? A great historical examples, practical solutions, a guidebook to learning from the past with actionable solutions to help you save our future. Dear God. I mean, and this book here by Nina Jankowicz, that scares the hell out of me. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Instead of things like what happened in 2017 when you had the Boston bombing. Where were they then? Where were the intelligence agencies then? Oh, sorry, we're too busy chasing people on Twitter for alleged this and alleged that. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. It would be almost impossible for us to refuse to turn them over to Congress. Unbelievable. All this information. Again, I think that do yourself a favor and click on the link below and have a look at it yourself. It's definitely worth the read. And they're running clandestine operations against American citizens on US soil. This is the CIA, and this is part of it in the 21st century. Unbelievable. All right, well, my name is David. Thanks for joining me for another Studio 64 Science, Space and Tech News update. I shall see you in the next one. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. If you're up for it, drop a comment down below the video because I'd love to hear what you think. All right, take care. And as I always say, if you can't be good at it. And as I also always say,
my brain hurts!